Hey, Shawn Shaler here. Just wanted to apologize. We recorded this episode the same day that we had Ian on the last time. And again, totally my fault. I screwed up the audio. Still not exactly sure what I did to make it that way. Tried my best to fix it to make it at least audible. I really apologize for the crappy quality, and I hope you enjoy it anyway. Thanks for bearing with me. Hi, my name is Shawn Shaler. That's my friend Jesse Lobbs. That's my friend Ian HArtford, who is back again to be with us on Pokemalarkey. Our friend. Have you ever met Ian in real life, though? You haven't, right?
Doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter. That doesn't preclude you from being friends.
Wow.
I'm just curious.
Well,
No.
Wow.
Y'all shut up and listen to me for a second.
Sorry.
Y'all shut up and listen. He's more magnificent in real life. That's all I'm saying. That's a high bar. He's more magnificent. Good recovery, right? Hi, welcome to Pokemalarkey. We're so glad to talk to you today about this episode, which is, I want to say it's 25 officially. It's called Primeape Goes Bananas. 25 in actuality, 24 if you're an American. And before we get to that, as always, though, I would love to ask you, starting with Ian, buddy, how you doing? What are you playing and or consuming at this time?
I am fantastic, and I have been consuming a lot of a D&D show, D&D podcast. It's called Tales from the Stinky Dragon. And by the way, do not look up Stinky Dragon, the term Stinky Dragon on Google. It is...
Will my wife be mad at me?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It is not a good act. But it's a group of people who are doing D&D, and it's extremely easy to consume. Most of the D&D podcasts are like 3 to 4 hours, and like it's hard to get through. And this one is only 30 minutes to an hour each episode, so it's easy to listen to on a way to work for me. Way to work, and then back home. I feel like Jesse has looked it up. Did you look up Stinky Dragon?
Oh gosh,
I definitely did.
Stop!
And, wow, I could not have been more unprepared for that.
I told you. Go look it up.
Oh,
Shawn, your innocent eyes aren't ready for it.
I'm not doing it. My wife uses this computer. Not going to do it.
Your history every time.
No,
yeah,
but I imagine
really...
that other websites start with the letter S sometimes.
It's a really good D&D group. They cut out all the BS of hemming and hawing between each move. It's all very straightforward, and they know what they're going to do each time. They're not, oh, well, what if I do this one? Should I do that one? And so they kind of cut out all of that crap. So it's very easy to go through. It's really funny, too.
That's fantastic. Ian, we're going to try to fire up that. Maybe you guys already started, and I kind of hope so, but a little couples D&D through the winter time, maybe, when things are slightly less insane. Looking forward to that, if that's still on the table.
Yep, it is. We haven't started yet because...
Everybody's busy with life and all that nonsense. Life, am I right? Psh, garbage. Jesse, how are you doing? What have you been up to?
I'm doing fine. What I've been up to, I've really only just been lately watching anime, as one does. I'm moving through a handful of shows, very behind the pace. But of the anime I'm watching, the most ridiculous one that I love very dearly, surprisingly, is this bizarre mecha called Back Arrow from Funimation. Back Arrow is a story about this land that's like circled by a wall, very Attack on Titan. This is the wall's it. There's nothing outside the wall, and there are a few countries inside the wall. And every now and then they get these deliveries of these devices that allow people to suddenly be transported inside a mecha called a Brihite. And that mecha is powered by conviction particles. It's all very nonsense and silly because your bright height depends upon the strength of your conviction. It's just nonsense. But someone ends up getting shot from beyond the wall. He has no memory of how he got there. He really ends up like destabilizing the entire place. But it's got some really good mecha fights if you love mecha like I do. It's a lot of fun. It is so very silly. Nothing makes any sense at all. And I really thought I'd give this like 3 episodes. I'd be done. Here I am on episode like 22. So, that's what I've been watching. I recommend it. It's bizarre, but it's a lot of fun. The fight scenes are juicy.
That's fantastic. I am. And how are you personally? Did you answer that? Listen, I care about what you're consuming, but I want to know that you're doing well.
I'm just fine. I have to go to work every day for 8 hours a day, which I find very constrictive to time that I would rather be watching the anime I'm watching.
I think
Black Arrow, Case Study of Vanitas, My Hero Academia, Moriarty the Patriot. I just wanted to go through a few more that I'm finishing up Fire Force finally.
At the Planet Comic-Con, the Kansas City one, a lot of the voice actors from My Hero Academia were there. And if you know me, you'll recall that I'm like I'm going to use this phrase for the second time in a handful of episodes, like a light casual fan of My Hero. I keep up. I enjoy it. I'm not crazy about it or anything. But the person who voice acts Ida is the most charismatic, charming human I've maybe ever seen on a stage. That guy needs more screen time, roles, everything. He's fantastic. So I also, Jesse, Ian, I'm in the same boat. I'm sure we all are. Even jobs that we like and that pay the bills are sad because you have to do them. But outside of that, I am well. I've been playing a little Game Boy this week to prep for our Pokedjacent topic. Spoiler alert. I say spoiler, it's in the title. I'm putting it in the title. But specifically, I've been fiddling a lot more with my NVIDIA Shield TV, which I probably harp about on my other podcast, or maybe this podcast, I get them mixed up sometimes, is like an Android TV box, but it plays and it emulates games really well. It has an NVIDIA ARM processor in there that's astounding. It can play a lot of my Steam games from my main PC on the other TV. It's convenient to stream from, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. So streamed a little Pokemon Yellow the other night as a test. Been playing lots of rando Game Boy ROMs on there in preparation. It's a little more expensive device for what it is. You know, Fire Sticks and that are like, what, $20 to $30? This thing is gonna cost you in the 150 ballpark or 200 with a controller. But it's literally like a secondary gaming machine, especially if you already have a PC setup. Would recommend. It's a piece of tech I really love. Enough gushing about our personal selves and lives. We've got more important lives to talk about. That's the life and times of Ash Ketchum. Jesse, would you care to walk us through the summary of Primeape Goes Bananas, which is episode 25 of Indigo League?
Yes, let's go. As our adventurers are on their way now towards Celadon City, Ash decides he's going to give Professor Oak just a little call to let him know how many badges he has. Professor Oak, in his very serene setting, enjoying, his cup of tea, playing with the Pokemon. He's unimpressed. He lets Ash know that his rivals already have 5 Pokemon badges, and this includes Gary, which is a big kick in the goddamn teeth to Ash, who feels terrible to find out that not only does Gary have 5 badges, he's also caught 30 Pokemon, and Ash has not even like 75% of that number. Ash has so few Pokemon compared to Gary. So Ash hangs up the phone, very upset. They're all sitting around enjoying donuts. Not that Brock has very generously made. Oh, go ahead, Shawn.
Not, what is it, like sushi or whatever it's actually supposed to be? Is that what it is? Yeah.
Onigiri rice balls, but donuts, because that apparently is close enough. So they're eating donuts when a Mankey shows up, and that Mankey is interested in Ash's rice donut.
And
Donut.
this Mankey has a sweet tooth.
This Mankey has a sweet tooth. And if you don't know, a Mankey is a pig monkey Pokemon, which is one of the worst Pokemon there are. Anyway.
Interesting.
As we're there, the Mankey gets it, and he eats Brock. Brock, always very generous, says, "Here, you can have my donut." The Mankey's loving it. He's enjoying it. Ash, who has learned absolutely nothing from the 23 episodes we've watched so far, says, "I'm going to take this Pokeball and just hurl it at the pig monkey Pokemon, just like I always have."
Maybe if I hit it in the face hard enough, it'll work.
I don't want to weaken it. I don't want to fight it. I'm just going to do the old Ash Ketchum and just throw the Pokeball. As you can imagine, it does not work. The Mankey just throws the donut they coincide, donut, Pokeball, and the Pokeball captures the donut, which is fascinating physics-wise, but I want to get to that later.
I don't understand it, yeah.
So, of course, this pisses the Mankey off. The Mankey starts using a Pokemon move called Thrash, and if you're familiar with Thrash, it is pretty brutal, and it's usually a last resort for a Pokemon. So Mankey attacks the team, and he grabs Ash's hat and runs off with it. In the meantime, Team Rocket's trying to find a way to capture Pikachu. As usual, Ash tells the team about how important this hat is to him, how many postcards he had to send in to get this official Pokemon League hat officially from the Pokemon League. So as they're doing that, he tries to get it from the Mankey, and in doing so, Team Rocket shows up, and what happens? Mankey hops over to them, kind of curious. James kicks it. James has a very unfortunate history of kicking Pokemon, only to find out that they evolved into something much worse than what they were originally. So Mankey evolves into Primate, which is the evolved form of Mankey, stronger and more powerful. It's where the title of the episode comes from. And Primate is pissed. So he beats the shit out of Team Rocket. He beats the shit out of the team. Fortunately, Ash remembers, Professor Oak and what he said. He sends out Bulbasaur. He sends out Charmander. And Charmander eventually is able to get enough power to distract Primate just long enough so Pikachu can grab the hat off of Primate's head before Charmander uses Flamethrower, knocking that Primeape out. And you know what? Ash, finally following the right pattern of weakening a Pokemon, then throws a Pokeball, gets his Primeape, and of course, because there's Team Rocket, there's always a hole. Half the team's falling in a hole, Team Rocket's in the hole, and Ash is like, you know what? I've got a Primate now. Tosses it in with Team Rocket, and Primate
goes bananas.
Blasting off again.
Oh.
Goes bananas. That is more apt for the episode title. Good job.
Did Charmander use Rage in there also? I feel like this was a good episode for awesome Pokemon moves.
Yeah, good episode for Dragon type Pokemon.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
So it's just a Mankey.
Thank you,
Anyway,
Jesse, for the glowing summary.
Episode.
No, I know, and I know it's killing you inside to tell the summary without interjecting lots of scathing commentary because Ash is literally awful at everything. So, go ahead, Jesse, get it off your chest.
I would like to not actually go after Ash first. I would like to return to the fact that we have seen James kick a Magikarp. And that Magikarp evolved into one of the most frightening Pokemon there are in Kanto, Gyarados.
You can level up Magikarp for days upon end, or James can kick it.
Exactly.
Same result.
And he's learned nothing. He kicks it. And you know what? Team Rocket gets what they deserve. Of course, in terms of stupidity, it is really hard to rank anything higher than Ash just throwing a Pokeball like he's in the Safari Zone without even throwing a rock first.
But he learns, though, in this episode. He learns. Is there any credit for progress?
No, because I don't believe he learns. I think it's just lucky at this point.
Okay.
Next time we get to a Pokemon that he has to capture, I'll see if he learns.
Okay, that's
Somehow
fair.
I feel like I doubt it.
That's fair. Ian, thoughts?
Well,
Scathes.
My annoyance is at the very beginning whenever he says that Gary has caught 30 Pokemon and Ash has only caught 7, and then at this point has let one of them go because we are past the bye-bye Butterfree thing, so he's let Butterfree go. So he has only 6 Pokemon, and one of them is Krabby, who's not even with him. So,
And his Krabby is smaller than Gary's Krabby.
and
Which is not important.
size doesn't matter,
It doesn't.
Mister.
Wow, it's not true.
Heather! You lied.
Yeah, Ash is just one special boy, and all he needed to do was just let the Pokemon eat, and then send a spark out that way and
Yep.
jolt him a little
Also-
bit, and then hit him, and we would have not any of this. But he probably wouldn't have had a Primeape at that point, so Primate's probably his strongest Pokemon he has right now.
Yeah.
I have a confession to make, though, and that's that this episode is pretty special to me. It's one of those because it's one of those first VHSs we had. It was in one of those trios.
I had this on a VHS, Shawn.
I don't remember
Yes.
which other 2 episodes are on it. Maybe the 2 after, because the 3 Sabrina ones would be on the one before or something like that. But it's very special to me because that, right? And so I was very attracted to the idea of a Mankey, because he's not like one of the common Pokemon that you just see or hear about all the time. And then to find out later in the games that, when you break off that path really early in the game toward, help me out here, Viridian City Gym, or the champions know that
We've talked about this. Yep.
where you can catch the Mankey, and it just felt different. It felt like not something you're supposed to do. It wasn't a Pidgey or a Caterpie or anything.
It's exciting.
It was. And so then I always would go do that, and then I would raise and evolve that Mankey as quickly as possible because of this episode and because it was unique and different. So I have a soft spot for this episode. And then I didn't think of it until just now, but we're talking about all these great moves that we see in this episode that maybe we've seen before. I really don't know, but there actually is an accumulation. If you get to see Razor Leaf, like Ash, you pulled your head out of your ass, you know what Razor Leaf is, you know what Rage, maybe Flamethrower, Thunder Shock or Thunderbolt, I forget which one. You get to see Mankey do some crazy weird stuff. And then I'm going to give a smidge of credit to Team Rocket, because usually they're so dumb, but this time they listened to the Pokédex about Mankey, and they're like, you know what? Boss doesn't need to waste time with a Mankey. And for once, I'm like, you still suck at everything, but you're prioritizing.
It was an impressive development.
It was. So I'm also going to give them just like a smidge of them and Ash for his progression throughout the episode, like a smidge of, you know what? Good job. That's my 2 cents. I know it's too nice for what this deserves, but it is what I feel,
So there are some really dumb, stupid jokes on this episode that I love a lot. Like Ash throwing the Pokeball and catching a donut, and Misty going, "A donut Pokemon." Very stupid. And then when the Mankey starts beating the shit out of Ash, Rock goes, "Ash, are you okay?" And Ash goes, "Of course I'm not okay."
Yeah.
That made me laugh very hard. And then very childishly, when they tell Pikachu not to look Mankey directly in the eye, he opens his eye, and I'm like, that's where Mankey's dick would be. That's dick zone. So you're not gonna look in that eye, but you're gonna look in that one. Quit.
That's going to make him mad also.
So it's so stupid, and I just really enjoyed the dumb jokes in this episode, including Professor Oak's poetry, which is terrible.
Yes.
And also Mr. Formalist. Good poems have to have rhymes. Fuck you. No, they don't. That's an English major.
I would like to know the literal translation of whatever he originally said in Japanese.
too.
I have a feeling that was a
I would love
butchered,
to know.
an intentionally butchered dub, if I had to guess.
So Very fun, very stupid episode. I think it's very stupid and silly, which is like sweet spot. Either a Pokemon episode is like sentimental out the wazoo, which is usually a good episode, or it's like dumb silly. And for me, that was this one, which is also like a chef's kiss perfect Pokemon episode as far as I'm concerned.
I know we're going to disagree with this because Ash is stupid as hell, but I'm going to give him a B. Jesse, he learned today. Jesse, he learned. He used lots of different moves that we didn't know that his little brain comprehended.
D-.
That is too... No, I can't do that. I'll compromise.
Ian has been on the road long enough to know you don't throw a Pokeball without weakening it first. That's
Well, he only has 6 Pokemon.
Okay, I'm giving him a
Most of them
C.
were given to him.
I'm giving him a C then. I can't give him a D because this is relative to the other things that he has done. This one, he's tolerable, even if his sob story about a stupid hat and his whole progress.
he wrote so many postcards.
He wrote so many postcards. So I'll compromise. I'll give him a C. He deserves like some kind of pat on the back, and he ended up with a Primate, and there's something to be said about that.
That's true. He needed something stronger than his like battalion of starter Pokemon that he has.
Than his battalion of literal like misfit toys that just accidentally wound up in his possession. He caught
By luck.
a non-Caterpie, and that's important. Let's move on though. I'm really excited to talk about the next thing. Tired of using that old, small, rechargeable, convenient Nintendo Game Boy Advance SP to play all of your Game Boy, Game Boy Color, and Game Boy Advance cartridges without completely debilitating your smartphone? Looks like you need the Hyperkin Smart Boy. That's right. Through the combined power of third-party emulators not optimized for the hardware and real physical cartridges, the Smart Boy lets you play all your favorite Game Boy and Game Boy Color games, sometimes when it actually reads the cartridges. All you need is this SP-sized chunk of Smart Boy hardware, real game cartridges, and one of 40-some-odd compatible Android phones with USB-C ports that you don't plan on using for anything else while you play. But wait, there's more! If you put your own ROMs on your phone and bypass Hyperkin's Smart Boy app altogether, it actually is a solid controller for Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance emulators. Or, at least it would be, if you get one that actually comes with a USB-C extension cable you'll usually need to set it up, and you don't already have a different Bluetooth controller you like better, and you still have no intention of using your phone for anything else while you play. It's just that simple, so ditch the better-looking, feeling, playing, and more genuine experiencing options and get your Hyperkin Smart Boy today. And the next thing is our Pokedjacent segment, which during this week, because we have Ian on to be our expert, and because we were going to have to talk about it eventually, it's hand in hand, it's tied with the origins of Pokemon. So this week our never persuasive, not trying to be persuasive, and we're not really even trying to be that informative, just a nice little homage to something nerdy and nostalgic. This week we're going to pay that homage to the Nintendo Game Boy. So I'm going to start with just the stupidest, most dumbed down, like literally I'm reading off Wikipedia right now. Then I'm going to turn it over to Ian to kick things off because he has maybe a slightly more genuine experience with the Game Boy out of the three of us. So I see here it looks like it was released in late 1989. It literally had a lifespan of like 14 years. The pack-in game was Tetris. It was kind of trying to hit I don't want to say an older audience, but the idea of a portable console didn't have the same kind of maybe childish vibes to it as home video games did at the time. So I feel like a Tetris game, a neutral something to appeal to a broad audience. It was, I don't know, was it a like $90 retail or $100 retail originally? I'm sure that's asininely expensive at this point in time. And it would eat through all kinds of batteries all day long. But people loved it. It sold wildly well. It sold extremely well for like 10 years, and then it persisted for like 3 or 4 more years out of pure stubbornness. Ian, would you like to tell us about some of your experiences with the Game Boy and what the world of having a Game Boy in society was like.
So my first interaction with the Game Boy was one of my sister's friends. I was friends with the younger sister, and I don't know if it was hers or if it was the family's, but they had a Game Boy, and they had the big brick one. They had Tetris on there and a couple other things, and I would go and hang out at their house while she was at violin lessons or piano lessons or something, and I would play their Game Boy all the time. What? Well, so
you're rich. I'm just being stupid. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, they were. So I got soon after that. I, forced my parents to get me one, and I think my first game was the Game and Watch Gallery. Loved that thing. I don't even know why, because there's only 4 games on there, and I believe I had Tetris also, but I'm not sure. But soon after I got that, I heard about Pokemon coming out. I'm not even sure how I heard about it or what made me think of getting it. So again, forced my parents to give that to me because I'm a terrible person, and that consumed my life was Pokemon Red until then, and completely head over heels with Pokemon after that. Got every single game that has ever come out, except Black and White. I have not got. I have not played one.
That's the only one I've missed too.
I played Black and White 2, but not the first one. I've only played it through half of that because I needed to use it to move. You can move Pokemon from older games using Black and White 2 into the newer games on DS, and so I just used it for that. I swear, I didn't enjoy playing that one.
It meant nothing to me.
I swear. But yeah, I got that brick GameCube or Game Boy. I got the Game Boy Color after that, the purple clear one, and then I believe I got a Pocket also, but I'm not. Don't quote me on that.
It's been many years.
I remember playing one for a while at my house. I don't know if that was mine or if that was somebody else's. But yeah, I loved the Game Boy. Then the Game Boy Advanced and the SP got both of those, and those ones always were that was my first, console of itself, and it wasn't the family's, because we had a SNES in the house, and this one was mine.
What was it, sticking to like original Game Boy, do you have a favorite non-Pokemon game, just out of curiosity?
Zelda.
The Link's Awakening?
Link to the Past?
Yeah.
No, Link's Awakening, yeah.
Link's Awakening was the first Zelda that I played on that. I think that was the only... I don't know if they had the other one on there.
Link to the Past, funnily enough, did get like a DX on the Game Boy Color or something like that, but original Game Boy.
I played on the Game Boy Color. And I played the other Zeldas on NES and SNES before the GameCube or the Game Boy.
I forget the Game Boy was a thing because my mind automatically begins with Game Boy Color, because that's what I got on my birthday in December in 1998. I want to say I got a Game Boy Color. And I got a Pokemon Yellow, and then at Christmas I got Pokemon Blue. So I had 2 of them, like one after the other, and that was my first experience of a Game Boy brand. And I was like, "This is great." And then here I am.
You really got the most out of the Game Boy Color, trying its best to apply color to the Game Boy Pokemon games.
I loved it. Me with my little clip-on light thing to show me the screen on vacations. Awesome. I'm like, here, I'm just trying to make this work. Please little clip-on light. Don't die. I need to beat the Pokemon League. Don't die.
Yeah, this spirally one.
Yep. I'm just trying to beat Agatha. Don't die. I remember that very strongly. We were on our way to Florida in the middle of the night, and like I was like, I'm here. I'm finally here. And I was like, please don't die. Please don't die, little light. Please let me finish this. And I did it. So you know what? Fuck you, Agatha. Elite Four, I did it.
Yeah, Agatha's my favorite because her choice in Pokemon is pristine. She's fantastic. I can tell you're unimpressed. As
you beat the shit out of me a million times, so I am unimpressed. But Lorelai, I'm an ice type, so
all about Agatha. As usual, my experience with the Game Boy was disingenuous because I don't know how to do anything right ever. But I think my first Game Boy experience was actually like Super Game Boy, and like even in relatively recent years, as far as black and white Game Boy goes. Like Jesse, I think I got a Game Boy Color first, even though I had maybe Red and eventually Crystal on the Game Boy Color. So original Game Boy experience, kind of limited to like Super Game Boy. But since then, I've played quite a bit of it, if for no other reason than just to appreciate what, especially Nintendo, and I mean other companies got better over time, but Nintendo, for having this little bitty black and white screen where you can basically count the pixels on it, and it's black and white and such limited hardware. Nintendo just got so creatively good at doing such unique things with that hardware. Link's Awakening is probably the most impressive display of that, but also like the Super Mario Land 3, the Wario game, I would say is also like a unique display of its abilities. Is that original Game Boy or is that Game Boy Color? Oh my goodness, I might be spewing false facts. But just Nintendo got extremely creative at what they could do with it. Mad respect for it, and I have had the opportunity to play a little bit more these days. I will say that I do like Game & Watch Gallery 1 and 2. I like the Nintendo modern recreations of the old Game & Watch games. Those are a lot of fun. And then I also have a lot of specific memories of playing the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game. That was on the Game Boy, Follow the Foot Clan, something like that. I've got some memories, and I say memories, that would be like, again, 2012, 2013. When I finally started doing these things. So, Game Boy, Jesse and I may not have known you particularly well, but Ian does, which is why Ian's here. Thank you so much. We salute you for lasting forever. Oh my goodness, for lasting forever.
Thanks for being ancient.
Thanks for paving the way for everything else.
Shawn is trying to say.
Thanks for being ancient and paving the way and making Pokemon a reality. We're so grateful. Even if our first Pokemon experiences were not there. But it sounds like Ian's were, so I'm glad we brought you on. I'm also glad we brought you on because you're handsome. Don't forget that.
That's true. I like that. I like that part about you too. So
that's our Pokedjacent homage to the Nintendo Game Boy. Thanks, Nintendo. Thanks, Game Boy.
Ending with an homage to Ian's beauty.
Always. I didn't.
That was our Pokedjacent topic. Ian.
It was Ian being handsome. I didn't think of any hilarious Pokemon-related questions to ask Ian this time, to throw at him unannounced at the end. Jesse, any?
Ian, if you were a supervillain,
Who says I'm not?
If you were publicly a supervillain.
That is very erotic to me, Ian. if you had to choose one to be your like, and you can't say, if you say Mewtwo, I'm gonna fly through this screen and slap you in the face. If you had to choose one Pokemon that would be like your brand as an evil supervillain, what Pokemon would that be?
Scizor.
Don't say. Oh, good. Oh, what a good choice.
Yes.
Scizor. That's a sexy choice.
Definitely Scizor because he will torture everybody for me. You know, if they're not doing anything, I just look over at Scizor and goes over and just clamps their hand off.
You thought I was going to break your kneecaps? You wish.
You're gonna wish your kneecaps are broken when I'm done with you.
That's a good answer, Shawn.
That's where you sit on a throne, and then the Scizor's right behind there, and he turns around.
Oh my god, that's terrifying, actually. Shawn, what about you?
My first
supervillain What's the brand?
My version of supervillainy is different. It involves a pyramid scheme and door-to-door sales, and I'm gonna have a Magikarp and spread my evil, spread my evil through networking. Listen, if you buy this Magikarp, and it will have 300 babies, and then it'll have 300 babies, and before you know it, you'll have all these delicious Magikarp.
I appreciate that.
And on a scale of not evil to evil, people look at Ian and be like, that guy's pretty evil. And then I'll show up at their house and be like, nope, fuck that guy. He's the worst.
Don't want to mess with this guy. I don't want 300 Magikarp to deal with later on.
I think for my own choice, I would have to choose a Galarian Wheezing. Like,
Ooh.
give me
Ooh.
Old time gangster.
a terrible factory where I'm abusing children to work in the sweatshop, like stacks of smoke coming up.
That looks like a top hat. Looks like a classy top hat.
My mother got tuberculosis. Can I go home? And I'm like, wheezing smog. Where would you go now, kid?
Absolutely not.
That's amazing. I'm a little sad that
It
Nevin.
feels very villainy. The top hat smokestack.
It does, yeah, it does feel very villain-like.
Love it.
I'm a little sad that nobody said Psyduck, but that's fine. I'll get over
I
it.
thought about Mr. Mime because he's a creepy motherfucker.
It's the creepiest Pokemon of all time. You mess with people's heads.
That definitely approaches like.
Uncomfortable territory, absolutely.
Yes, thank you for saying what I was afraid to.
That's like the kind of evil that we can't allude to on this show. That's we're all about non-serious evils here.
And worse stuff. I'm like, you get out of here.
You
Get out of this town.
with your ugh, yeah. Hey, let's wrap up on that. Thank you all so much for watching Pokemalarkey, our little expose on Mr. Mime's deep-rooted issues. Ian, thanks so much. It's cold case
of Mr. Mime.
My wife is literally watching Bones next door. I can hear the music, and we're talking about Mr. Mime crimes, and it meshes too well, almost.
Mr.
I can hear the
Mime's
bones.
Crimes.
Mr. Mime's
Da 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 da. Okay, thanks Ian for coming back and talking about the Game Boy and Pokemalarkey stuff with us. Jesse, just because you're here every week doesn't make me any less grateful. Thank you all so much. Thank you. Wow, that was a weird word. Thank you all so much for watching. I'll put stuff to contact us down in the description, other relevant details, and we hope you'll join us next week. See you later.
Bye.